So Cyberverse has a new piece of information regarding a new character that we were not aware of. That up to this point, it seems like all the characters that we knew from the Cyberverse series were due to toys and what toys were revealed to us, or some kind of small little blurbs. But it seems that one of the voice actors for a character that is going to be in the series came forward and mentioned what she's going to be doing and who she is and her role in this universe of Cyberverse. The voice actress in question is Leanne Mary Dobbs, and she says that she's going to be voicing a character named Slipstream. Now, we all know Slipstream now in the Transformers universe as the female Starscream clone from animated, and different versions of that character has started to appear in different versions of Transformers fiction, whether it be the Transformers Fall for Cybertron video game or War for Cybertron video game had Slipstream in it, and there was different versions of her through different iterations. Even the Legends toy line had a version of Slipstream.
Yep, yep.
So she says, and this is what's interesting, is so obviously she mentioned that she's going to be in the show and she's going to be voicing this character. But what she mentions is Slipstream's role in the show. And it confirms that she's going to be the leader of the Seekers, which makes it that Starscream isn't going to be the leaders of the Seekers, which is the first time that this is an interesting piece of information, because that shows that Starscream's probably going to have a different role in the show, so she's going to be leading the Seekers. What this also does mean is that it confirms that there's going to be other Seekers, because if she's clearly leading the Seekers,
other Slipstream Seekers or other
Seekers
Starscream
are the
Seekers?
Seekers.
Like, but you know what I mean? Like, if they make Slipstream like more feminine looking, and then like that would she be leading a team of all female ones, or would it be a star? You know what I mean?
Well, the implication of Seekers always within Transformers, it was originally a fan created name that then became official, has always been the Jets. You know, the Jet crew that usually had the similar transformation and shape as Starscream. Like, people consider the Coneheads part of the Seekers. Sometimes people even argue that Skyfire might have been technically part of the Seekers before before the whole Cybertronian War in the cartoon. Any of the Jets that essentially were part of the Decepticons during that 84, 85, 86 burst, and then by the time 86, 87 with the sweeps and everything, Seekers as a term kind of started to fade away, and then would only pop up when you would have Armada with a Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, or anything like that. So in this case, hey, we're going to have some kind of female Decepticon Jet, I'm assuming, because it's a Seeker, and she's going to be leading a group of Seekers. Does that imply that it's going to be a Thundercracker, Skywarp? We don't know. Maybe Sunstorm, maybe Bitstream, some of the other lesser-known Seekers, or Acid Rain. But all we know is she's going to be leading Seekers. So that's another piece of information that we learn from this. Is there going to be a toy? Nothing has been revealed yet. But that
because the reason I asked that and the way I posed that would be because if they're doing toys of this character, how are they going to do multiple versions so that they can get the most out of that mold?
Well, especially it's interesting because up to this point now, we have confirmed that there's going to be Windblade. She's going to be in the series. So that's one female Jet. Then we have Starscream confirmed in multiple price points for this line. So there's another Jet. And now, assuming, again, it's a Seeker, so I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and say Slipstream's going to be a Jet also. That's a lot of Jets within maybe like first and second wave of toys. And that's not leaving out whatever else they have planned to then come out afterwards. So that's a lot of Jets. And I'm not saying that there should be a limit, but I know in the past Hasbro has brought up how sometimes they avoid releasing certain characters because we don't want too many tanks, or we don't want like people used to ask, we want Bludgeon released during the Classics thing, and they'd be like, well, we didn't release Bludgeon as part of Classics because we already had too many tanks in Classics, so we put him in the, I think it was Hunt for Decepticon subline, which was part of the Movieverse actually, just to separate that.
And then also Skywarp. I guess they always do Thundercracker, but they're kind of more reluctant to do Skywarp because like, hey, we already have
Yeah, I always
a bunch of jets.
That's
like Skywarp always seems to be getting the short stick.
That's something. Yeah, he usually, and if he does happen, he's usually an exclusive or something. Usually Skywarp will always get like he'll be like a store exclusive, or he'll be a con exclusive, but or the like. I mean, this dates back all the way back to Armada, where you had Starscream, you had Thundercracker, and Skywarp was the retooled one that came out at the end of the line, so he was really difficult to get. Or then you even look at classics, it's like you had Starscream, you had Thundercracker, who was a BotCon exclusive, but then retail afterwards. But what about that Skywarp? Oh no, he's with that Ultra Magnus 2-pack from Target, and he's really tough to get. And then at one point, he was worth big money. So,
and then also with that, what was that box set with all the Seekers?
Oh, they released a box set years later.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's.
But like you have to buy a whole box set.
Yeah, there's so
many
all
different... the Seekers.
I think the only time Skywarp was really easy to get was probably his Masterpiece one.
Yeah.
His Masterpiece one was a Walmart exclusive.
I guess the first version.
Yeah, the first version. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, the first American version was pretty easy to get. And I mean, yeah, there was repaints here and there. Like his Cybertron one was pretty easy to get also, which was a repaint of Thundercracker. It was a deluxe. But in general, anyways, we're getting a little off topic, but
sorry.
It's okay.
It's pretty cool.
It's
okay. Seems pretty cool.
So yeah, this pretty much confirms we got Slipstream coming. And that she's going to be the leader of Seekers. What this means is Starscream's role. Is Slipstream going to be a rival to, say, Windblade, who's also a jet female? Who knows? Like, we'll see what happens. But the voice actress of Lillian Mary Dobbs, her previous credited roles is not much. Like, this is actually going through her IMDb and everything. It looks like this is going to be her first major role, because everything she's done thus far has been one episode kind of stuff. Like, she did a lot of Pokemon stuff, but it was her being like, oh, I'm going to be this one character in this one episode, and then you're never going to see that character ever again. Or I'll be this one character in this one Pokemon movie, and I'll have 4 lines, and then you'll never see me ever again. And
can I ask a quick question about Slipstream, though? Her first appearance was animated? Or was this like a character that was kind of... like, oh, that was a mistake in G1, a coloring mistake in G1, and then fans ran with it.
The origin of Slipstream is, it's kind of grounded in that, is that many years ago, in the first 3 episodes of Generation 1, the first 3 episodes, More Meets the Eye, parts 1, 2, and 3, those episodes are rife with animation errors. It runs rampant. I wrote a bio for BotCon about the Reflector characters based on the animation errors, because Reflector is supposed to be only 3 members. Yeah. You watch the animation of of episodes 1, 2, and 3 of More Meets the Eye. It's like filled with like 50 reflectors. Like they're everywhere. So me trying to explain all of that. So, but what you're referring to is there was one scene for like 5 milliseconds where one of the Seeker Jets was painted like a purple kind of color scheme, and she was drawn a lot more differently than the more bulkier Seeker Jets. Right. And there was this fan in the fandom named Raksha, who, if anyone's part of the old fandom, they know who she is. And Raksha saw that and said her name is Lady in Purple. She's the first ever female Seeker, and she coined this years ago. We're talking 1998, 1999. Like, years ago she coined this, and she's the first ever female Seeker. That's all it was. Years later, animated happens, and Derek Wyatt, pretty much every color scheme that could exist of previous Starscreams got its chance, whether it be Sunstorm or anything, but he still wanted to do a female version. So he did a female version based on that purple color scheme of that fan assumption of that animation mistake. I mean, it's the same thing. There's the character of Holler, which was a character that was just nothing more really than a script mistake and an animation mistake from Generation 1, ended up becoming its own character years later, where they're like, hey, remember that time that they called they called Hoist, not Hoist. Oh my God. You got. I can't believe. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Grapple. Thank you.
Grappler.
Grapple. Remember that time Grapple was in the first episode of G1, and they called him, they called him Holler instead of that, and so there's all of this kind of stuff, and
so basically, Slipstream is another animated character getting new life again.
Essentially,
getting new life.
And the interesting thing is, Slipstream was never called Slipstream in the series. And when the series was over, a lot of people were asking Derek Wyatt, what was the name of that female version of Starscream? And he kind of kept his mouth shut about it. And then years later, when they did the Allspark Almanacs, like the art books and stuff of animated, all the names of the characters were revealed. Like it's the same thing. Sunstorm wasn't called Sunstorm on screen, but we knew it was Sunstorm. The Thundercracker one wasn't called Thundercracker on screen, but we knew it was Thundercracker.
Right.
So some of them were, they kind of, he was a given, but she was just this own thing. And
what are you supposed to represent? You don't want to know.
Well, yeah, there you go. It was just like, what part of your personality are you supposed to represent? It's like, obviously it's supposed to be his feminine side, but it's never implied. It's never said, but it's heavily implied. So yeah, like that, and then Slipstream ended up getting a toy in the club. I believe it was the 2.0 subscription service. Then we got the Legends figure. There was she made a cameo in the Creo mangas done by Naoto-san, and pretty much Naoto-san was showing you how you could make a Slipstream Creo using the other Lego-like pieces from Creo
cool.
to make one. So, and you can make a legit.
That's always worthwhile when you do that.
Well, he did that with if you go back and read Naoto's Creo mangas, like he puts a billion characters in the background that don't have Creo toys, but pretty much showing you, take Gears' head, take Prowl's body, take this guy's legs, and you got, this character. Like it's
okay.
Like he did a lot.
I just want to get a nice history. Where
this character has been up to.
Yeah, exactly.
So but I mean, now we're at the point now where now she's going to be in this series, and it's going to be a fresh take. Cyberverse is not tied to anything that has come previously, so Slipstream in this take is not going to be a clone or personality aspect of Starscream. She's going to be her own thing. That's the leader of the Seekers. So hey, awesome! Yet another animated thing comes to life.